Does Wales actually have a problem with immigration? Well, no. To be clear, absolutely not. Unless, are we counting the English? Ahead of the most important elections in Cymru's history, the right are rolling out the greatest hits.
Well, I can tell you the people of Wales are concerned about immigration.
Under our government, you'll be detained and deported, no questions asked.
But as all the usual noise hits fever pitch, it's important to remember two things. One, immigration isn't even a devolved power. And two, Cymru has the lowest levels of immigration than anywhere else in the UK. 93.1% of our population was born in Britain. Not that it stops Reform from talking about foreigners, which now, apparently, includes the Welsh.
Well, I heard that half the guests were Welsh, and I don't know, who knows what would have happened with all those foreign speakers there.
But here's something that Farage won't go near. Whilst young people are increasingly leaving Cymru in droves, the English are seeing Wales as their ideal retirement destination. This is an issue because Cymru is already older than anywhere else in the UK, and we are so not prepared for what's coming next. Say, for example, Plaid Cymru win the next two Senedd elections. Close to the end of their third term, around 2040, a quarter of Wales will be over 65, and at the same time, the amount of people over the age of 90 will have doubled, according to the ONS data crunched in Will Hayward's new book, Who Cares About Wales? This has insane implications for the cost of healthcare, pensions, tax, you name it. And it's a global crisis too. Japan already produces more nappies for adults than it does for babies. Now, no shade to the English. Some of my best friends are English. But could this influx of retirees be a problem? Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Taxes are partially devolved, and healthcare is fully devolved in Cymru. That means if my mate's granddad spends their life paying income tax in England, but then retires in Wales, any hospital bills essentially comes from the Welsh NHS budget, which would mean more pressure on a struggling system when Wales already has the longest NHS waiting lists in the UK. But look, if truth be told, the English are too easy a target. The cold reality under all this is that the defining factor is actually about class. Take the issue of second homes. Middle-class families, and not just the English, are buying up cottages for their holidays, pricing out working-class locals and piling pressure onto businesses. If you head to the picturesque town of Bedgellet, in the heart of Eryri National Park, you'll find that 23% of all dwellings there are actually second homes. This is actually much less a question of the Welsh versus the English, and much more a question of who owns the assets versus those that don't, which ultimately is how Cymru got into this stinking mess to begin with. No wonder then that when the Welsh government said that local authorities could put up council tax on second homes, which successfully drove house prices down, the right-wing press had a little bit of a freak out. So when Nigel Farage inevitably starts amping up the migrant-bashing, Anglo-maxing, dog-whistle politics ahead of the Senedd elections on May 7th, remember, it's one big distraction. If this man wanted to take migration in Cymru seriously, he might want to look in the mirror. Not necessarily as an Englishman, but as a hyper-capitalist, proprietarian, card-carrying member of the ownership class that has its eye on owning Cymru too.